Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. So today's video I am going to be doing advice to and for new moms. These are my experiences, these are my opinions, so if you think differently or have different opinions, that's totally fine. This is just my advice that I have for you guys. I am in no shape or form a professional or a mama guru, if that's what you can call it, but these are just my experiences, my advice. So let's get started. So starting from birth, my first advice is while you're pregnant, watch videos, get familiar with vaginal births and C-section births. With Isabella, I only got familiar with vaginal births, and if you watched my labor and delivery story, I ended up having a C-section. Long story short, I pushed for 4 hours. She wouldn't come out, so I had to have a C-section. And honestly, I feel like it would have been less traumatic and less of a bad experience for me if I knew that was even possible, if I knew that I had a chance to even have a C-section. I highly suggest going on YouTube, watching all kinds of different births, not to psych you out, but just to get you familiar with labor and delivery for both births, or even talk to family and friends who have had vaginal birth and C-sections. Next, I highly suggest you to have someone record, even if it's just the sound of your baby coming out. I know most hospitals don't allow you to record until the baby comes out. Personally, for this baby, I'm going to try to record. I am also going to have my phone recording the sounds of everything going on, C-section or vaginally. I'm gonna record. I want to hear my baby come out. I want to hear my baby's first cry. That's a memory I want to have for myself. I want to hear everything that's going on. Next advice is to be knowledgeable on the things that your baby will receive, the tests that your babies will have to take, and make sure that you and whoever's going to be in the room with you is also knowledgeable on what's going to be going on. After I gave birth, I was so out of it. Honestly, I don't even remember them taking her out, and I know they took her out. I don't remember them taking her out. I don't remember the test that they did on her. So much was happening. Luckily, my husband told me he remembers all of that stuff, but just in case, make sure your husband is or your husband or your boyfriend or whoever's going to be in the room with you is knowing what's going on. Next, if you are breastfeeding, which I chose to breastfeed with Isabella, make sure, or I don't know if every hospital does this, but the hospital that I gave birth they had a lactation they had a lactation nurse come in and talk to me about breastfeeding. Honestly, I was so out of it that I just wanted her out my face. So when she asked me if I understood, I said yeah, I understood, and sent her off. I 100% regret that, because after I got home from breastfeeding, I literally did not know what the heck was going on. I wasn't doing everything right. So I really advise you to no matter how tired you are, and I know you're gonna be so tired, or at least have them come when you're at your most awake and when you're your most energized, and don't let them leave until you understand, if that makes sense. And until you understand, don't let them leave. They will show you how to get the baby to latch, how your nipples are supposed to look in the baby's mouth. They will literally help you with all of that. So make sure you're paying attention to them, make sure you're listening to them. They're super helpful and they're there for a reason. They're breastfeeding gurus. They know what the heck is going on. All right, so this next advice is, if you need sleep after you give birth, ask the nurses for help. Ask them to watch the baby. Ask them to take the baby to the nursery. I didn't know they had a nursery in the hospital until someone told me oh, you could have just gave the baby to the nursery so you could sleep. I didn't know that. Story time. After Isabella was born, I was exhausted. I could barely keep my eyes open, and I couldn't even get up out of bed, because after C-section, you're literally bedbound. If I'm familiar, or if I'm correct, I think it's 24 hours. So I was just exhausted, tired, out of it, emotional, everything under the sun. My husband couldn't even keep his eyes open to save his life. I could literally offer him $1 million and he still wouldn't be able to keep his eyes open. That's how tired we were, you guys. I didn't get no sleep in the hospital, and I really regret at least asking for help to get some sleep. So I highly suggest to ask your nurses if they have a nursery, or if they have someone who can help take care of the baby while you and your husband get sleep, because you're gonna need it 100%. Highly suggest it. The next advice is to have visitors wait a little bit until they come and visit you and your baby. You guys, after I gave birth to Isabella, I literally, as soon as I got into my recovery room, had visitors in and out for the whole night. And let me just say, as a new mom, as a new breastfeeding mom, as a new first time mom, as a newly freshly emotional, 110% it annoyed me. I loved it that everyone wanted to see the baby, but also when you're a new mom, you're learning how to breastfeed, you're freaking laying on the bed after surgery or after giving birth, you don't want people all in your face. You don't want people all in your baby's face. So I highly suggest to have people wait 5+ hours or even a day until they come and visit the baby. Luckily, with the COVID restrictions, most hospitals are not accepting visitors like that, just like one visitor maybe. But highly suggest that have visitors wait, because you know, I understand everyone's excited and happy for you, but you're the mom, you need space and you need to get comfortable with your new family. So I highly suggest to have people wait. Okay, so next we're going to be talking about going home from the hospital. The first advice is to, the same as before, limit guests coming in and out and the time that they can stay for. Most women who have given birth know not to overstay their welcome, but sometimes people do. So I highly suggest at least waiting a week, a couple of days before you have visitors come, because like same thing as when you're in the hospital, you are freshly learning how to breastfeed, you're freshly out of sleep, you're freshly like getting to know you and your baby and your schedule, and just having people in and out can get annoying. So for me, I'm going to be limiting the amount of guests I have, limiting when and like the time frame of people coming. I don't know if I'm going to be waiting yet, like a week or so, but yeah, I highly suggest that, and make it known before you give birth so no feelings will get hurt. And if their feelings do get hurt, oh well, not your problem. You're the mom, you are the new parent, your feelings matter more than everyone else's. 100%, 110%. One thing that you have to learn when you're a new mom is your feelings matter more than everyone else's. People will get butthurt, people will feel some kind of way because you don't want them all up in your baby's face, but you're the mom. So you're the mom, you're the dad, you guys decide. My next advice is to ask for help when needed. I know in the beginning, and at least for me, when I gave birth to Isabella, I just felt like the need to do everything on my own. I felt the need to not need any help, or no, I didn't feel the need to ask for help as well. But eventually I did get overtired. I felt overworked, especially since I was doing a lot on my own. If you know, Fernando went back to work 2 days after I gave birth. He just had to go back to work. I also had a C-section, so I also was freshly recovering from surgery. And yeah, I found myself overly worked, overly tired, overly emotional, but still wasn't asking for help. And let me just say, it's okay to ask for help. I know you are so like, some people, or at least I was super, like, I don't know what the word is. Like you just wanted your baby to yourself. You wanted like to do everything. But I'm telling you, it takes a village to raise a baby. It takes a village to care for a baby. Obviously, don't leave your baby with no one that you don't trust. Don't leave your baby with no one that's not experienced. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone understands. And most women will literally jump at the like chance to care for a newborn baby, because who doesn't love babies? I personally love babies at the newborn stage. This one kind of ties into what I just said about, you know, asking for help, but it's asking and making time for yourself. Even if it's showering, getting coffee alone, making yourself food in peace, like literally make time for yourself, because even though you're a mom, that's not all you are. You are someone before you were a mom. You are a person, and you need a second to yourself to breathe sometimes. Even if it's driving down to the store, driving down to the gas station, just getting away for a second literally helps. Honestly, I feel like I suffered from really bad postpartum depression, and I think it's because I never made time for myself after I had Isabella, and it took me months, at least 8 months, to realize that I needed time for myself. It's one thing that I always tell moms who are struggling after having a kid and who are struggling with postpartum depression is to make time for yourself. Once Isabella got a little bit older, I started to work out at around 8 months. Once my husband would get home from work, I would leave her with him for an hour and I would go work out. I would go to Zumba from 7 to 8, and honestly it just made me feel so good to have that second to myself, to work on myself, to do something for myself, and it really like changed and helped my postpartum depression. So I highly suggest to find something that you love to do once you are comfortable leaving your baby with someone for a little bit, because you matter still. Your baby matters, obviously you're a mom, but you matter as well. So do something for yourself every single day, every single week, and I promise you it'll help you guys. So my next advice is to eat healthier, or eat healthy. Personally, I feel like when you're eating good, you feel good. I don't know about you, but yes, I love juicy burgers with french fries and milkshake. You know, I'm here for it, but most of the time I don't feel good after that. I'm tired, I'm sluggish, I don't feel good. Eat healthy, nourish your body with good foods, good like drinks, like water. Eat super good. I promise it'll like help you feel better. In the beginning, after I gave birth to Isabella, I wasn't eating terribly, but I wasn't eating as good as I could have been, and my mental health and everything on top of that felt so much better after I started eating good and after I started taking care of my body. Especially after you have a baby, like your body's recovering and you want to help it recover as fast, quickly, and just as like healthy as possible. Next, this one, let me tell you guys, do not buy the world's most expensive baby items. Babies grow so fast, they grow so quickly, and most of them don't even like the expensive things that are offered to them. For example, Isabella, I bought her the Mamaroo, you know, the cute little swing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cute, she's gonna love it, so aesthetic, I can't wait to get it. Got it. Isabella hated it, you guys, and she liked the $50 swing that I got her 20 times better. So don't go spending millions of dollars and hundreds of dollars on baby stuff, because they grow quickly out of it and sometimes they won't even like it. Honestly, I suggest you looking on Facebook Market. It's basically like a thrift store. It's basically, yeah, I would say it's like a thrift store, and people just sell stuff for cheaper. Most of the newborn stuff were only used for a couple of months because baby grow out of things like that, so people sell them for cheaper and they kind of sell them like new. So I highly suggest doing that. All right, so now we're going to talk about breastfeeding. And let me just say, if your goals are to breastfeed, I'm here to tell you that breastfeeding is not easy. Mentally, physically, emotionally, it's not easy. It's draining, and I mean, for some people it might come easy, but for a lot of people it doesn't. So if your goal is to breastfeed, I 100% recommend you to get knowledge on breastfeeding, understand everything you need to do to succeed in breastfeeding, and also follow people on Instagram and on any kind of social media. TikTok is a really good one that have like tips and tricks to help you breastfeeding for your milk supply and all that other good stuff, because once breastfeeding starts to get hard, it does get discouraging and it is easy for you to just stop and switch to formula. But if it is something that you want to do, don't give up. It's super easy to give up, but don't. I 100% regretted giving up breastfeeding because it got hard, and I knew I could have kept going, and I wish I had someone to push me and tell me to keep going. Anyways, that is going to be the end of today's video. I hope you guys got some good information, some good tips on, you know, becoming a mom. Thank you so much for watching. Comment down below if there's any like mommy related videos you guys want to see as well, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Peace.